Andrew Berry get his guy in Jerry Jeudy? He ringed him up, extending him. Jerry Jeudy, Cleveland Browns agree to a contract extension. Your latest Locked On Browns starts now.
You are Locked On Browns, your daily Cleveland Browns podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends, your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound, LGB, and the LOB, the Locked On Browns podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Your host, Jeff Lloyd, and I appreciate all of you who make Locked On Browns your first listen every single day. The everyday crowd keeps getting bigger, and we're always open for new talent, so make sure you subscribe to Locked On Browns YouTube channel. Show is always available. It's always free, wherever you get your podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. The Cleveland Browns and Jerry Jeudy have agreed to a contract extension, 3 years, $41 million guaranteed. Possibilities of the deal to get up to $58 million. The Cleveland Browns have tried to acquire Jerry Jeudy many times over a 2-year period. This is obviously a player that Andrew Berry has been enamored with, along with Coach Kevin Stefanski. And we've seen this before in the past with players. Takk McKinley, if you remember a couple of years ago. Obviously, Jadeveon Clowney was a player they were always trying to chase down. Some of these work, some of them don't. What they value in Jerry Jeudy is his age, about 25 years old, going into the 5th year. I think a lot of what's gone into this. Now, if you go to that Browns manifesto from back in the day from Paul DePodesta, identify and pay early. The Browns obviously clearly identified Jerry Jeudy many, many years ago. And now this is a player they absolutely wanted to get into the fold. You hear a lot of folks trying to bring up the statistical output that Jerry Jeudy has to this point. And I don't think it's that bad. He is part of a current Browns contingent of receivers, tight ends, running backs who accumulated over 4,000 yards receiving in the NFL last year. What went on in Denver? Like, what impressed you with the Denver Broncos offense, the Denver Broncos quarterbacks, any of that stuff in the 4 years that Jerry Jeudy was there? Obviously, situation matters. So you bring Jerry Jeudy here. And this is the other one that I don't understand why people are so surprised. Well, why'd you so quickly extend him? You could have saw how the year went. What? If he's waited so long to get this guy and continually tried to get the opportunity to get Jerry Jeudy, what is so surprising about the fact they did everything they could to get him a contract extension as soon as possible? Browns most likely top 3 wide receivers this year, Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, and Jerry Jeudy, were entering the season all on the last year of the current contracts. It's not an enviable position to be in for the Browns. What if they all went off? What if they all went off? It would have been great. It probably would have meant the Browns had a successful 2024 season. But the value for every player would have gone higher and higher and higher. I'm a little surprised. Obviously, this is one where the Browns probably went to Jerry Jeudy's camp and said, what's the number you think? What would you agree to? Because playing on the 5th year option, Jeudy, knows what the wide receiver market can do. He would have went into the market at a very, very young age. And now the Browns don't have to compete against 31 other ball clubs, because you can see how that franchise tag works out, because that's not working out very well for the Cincinnati Bengals currently. Usually never does work out for anybody under any circumstances. But you try to find players at a young age, and people may not be completely wrong where Jerry Jeudy's production may not necessarily warrant this type of money yet. But my question to you is, did David Njoku's at the time to anybody outside Cleveland? Most people felt at the same time they were saying the same things that people are trying to say right now about the Jerry Jeudy contract. Well, he never, The Browns obviously have extremely high hopes for Jerry Jeudy. The Browns probably obviously think Jerry Jeudy is going to be a big-time contributor for this team in 2024. Gets me even more excited about the acquisition, that the Browns have this much faith of what he is not only going to do in 2024, but possibly in 25, 26, 27. You pair that, hopefully, you look at Deshaun, and, so many things are said continuously. But the Browns, they don't care about that. They don't care. Look, they understood the situation they were bringing in. They want Deshaun Watson to be the successful production-based quarterback he was in his early days with the Houston Texans. Cleveland Browns obviously still believe that player still exists within that body, and they've gone to some solid lengths. David Njoku here for years to come. Jerry Jeudy now here for years to come. This does not rule out the possibility of trying to re-sign Elijah Moore long-term, certainly trying to work out a deal with Amari. I don't think that's something the Browns are probably going to do now. They want to see how Amari handles this season before they probably have those talks. So also tells you that what we thought was going to happen in 2023 that we never truly got to, which was where the Browns were going to be more of a pass-first offense, more of a pass-first team, is probably very much going to be the case here in 2024. It was supposed to be the plan in 2023 and got thwarted, but in 2024, that is going to be the case. I am excited for what can be done with this group. You just talk about 11 personnel. Whatever running back you would have put on the field with David Njoku, Elijah Moore, of course, Jerry Jeudy, and of course, Amari Cooper. It's got all of the, it's got the look. It's got all the look of something that should be really, really good. All three are great route runners. David Njoku, with this type of talent around him, becomes an absolute mismatch nightmare. And you saw down the stretch last year how so many teams struggled handling David. Again, he's too fast for linebackers. He's too big for secondary players. But Jerry Jeudy, and now this is something, this is going to be a big one. It's obviously going to be people who are all over it. Again, you usually want to be on these deals earlier than later. The money is in the Gabe Davis, Darnell Mooney realm. I certainly think the potential for Jerry Jeudy to be much better than both of those players will exist. I think Jerry Jeudy has more raw talent. I think a lot of reasons that anybody might be down on Jerry Jeudy, Tampa just wasn't very good. And their quarterback play wasn't very good. And if I hear one more time, Russell wasn't that bad. He's Russell Wilson. He was that bad. He's Russell Wilson. The standard is Russell Wilson, not Robert Wilson. Sorry. And he played more like a Robert Wilson than he played like a Russell Wilson. Jerry Jeudy extended. Your latest Locked On Browns continues. Appreciate everybody for being along for the ride. I tell you guys all the time, my wife, my daughters, they are big concert goers, late in the game ticket buyers. Sometimes it works out great. Sometimes it doesn't. So you got to be careful with these apps. The one app I don't think you have to have any issues with is Gametime, because you shouldn't have to worry when you buy your tickets to your next big event. Gametime is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. They got killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and the best price guarantee. Gametime takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. You get a view from your seat in the venue before you purchase, lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection. Heck, they even got job loss protection. So something happens, they will look out for you. They're all in prices show you total up front, so you know you're getting a great deal before you check out. You buy the tickets in seconds, 2 taps, and you are in. Find exclusive flash deals with sponsored deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. And the Gametime guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. This Locked On Browns continues. Your host, Jeff Lloyd. I appreciate all of you who make Locked On Browns your first listen every single day. The everydayers, you guys are the absolute best in the fabric. We wouldn't be here without you. Be like the everydayers. Subscribe to Locked On Browns YouTube channel. The show is always available. It's always free wherever you get your podcasts. Now, there is no, obviously, turning back on what Amari Cooper has done for this franchise over the last 2 seasons. Then you go back to that trade, obviously 2 years ago now. You pick up Amari Cooper for a fifth round pick from the Dallas Cowboys, and the investment just absolutely turned out to be the return on the investment turned out to be absolutely phenomenal. That is obviously the path here you were thinking with Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy comes in, I'm not saying similar to Amari Cooper, but similar as in good route runner, deep threat, runaway threat. I will continue to say that I think Jerry Jeudy was absolutely Denver just couldn't get done. And I think the potential to be untapped inside Jerry Jeudy is huge. I think it is a very, very large amount. I would imagine that you have to believe that a combination, a trio of Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, and Elijah Moore could probably net you well north of 2,500 yards receiving this season. There's other people, well, he never scored more than 6 touchdowns. Look at the score of Denver Broncos games, man. So many Denver Broncos games were they were under 20. I mean, look at things in context. That's what needs to be done here. Now, Jerry Jeudy, and you look, it's probably going to be not necessarily during the season, but there's probably a changing in the guard coming where Jerry Jeudy is probably going to be your number one of that wide receiver room. Ideally, that truly takes over in 2024. Not saying Amari doesn't come back, and if he has another great year, the Browns would be very much interested in bringing Amari Cooper back. But there would be, your future and your building block of the wide receiver room. Defensive end room, you obviously have that guy in Myles Garrett. The linebacker room, you have that guy in Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. The cornerbacks, you have that guy in Denzel Ward. And we could be having these conversations in a couple of years in regards to Martin Emerson. Safety room, you have that guy in Grant Delpit. Offensive line, it is still obviously a Joel Bitonio room. Potential of DeJuan Jones down the road. Wyatt Teller, if Joel only has one more season in him, maybe Wyatt Teller becomes that guy. David Njoku, your quarterback. Only question would probably be running back. The Browns have a solid top guy in every positional room on their roster. So this just continues to be, in my opinion, an absolutely glorious winning move from Andrew Berry, where you picked up Jeudy for a 5th and a 6th from the Denver Broncos, a player that you have been chasing for a while. And again, you weren't in this just for 1 year. The Browns, they don't kind of make those brash decisions. You know what I'm saying? It would be different if it was a trade deadline deal. It would be different if they were acquiring a 30-something-year-old guy. It would be different if they were going to throw up to $15 million on Mike Williams. Ugh, the Jets, I don't know what they're doing. But this is the sound move. You chase the age. And, people act like he's got no production. He's got production. He does. In 4 years in the NFL, he's got over 2,500 yards. There was some time missed in year 2. Okay? Everybody wanted to say they wanted to have Courtland Sutton. You look at the numbers between he and Courtland Sutton. Courtland Sutton was the red zone guy, but Jerry Jeudy, receptions, yards, all very similar to what Courtland Sutton did in his time in Denver as well. Now, what can you do? Where does Jerry Jeudy win? Jerry Jeudy wins vertically. Jerry Jeudy wins very much like Amari Cooper in his first 3-4 steps, any route he runs. Fantastic footwork, great balance, is able to sell and truly sell. You don't sell the route. You sell the DB. You don't necessarily run the route the same way every single time. If you've got an over-aggressive defensive back, you use that against him. So you have several ways to win on your routes and on your release and hitting your stem, which is all things that Jerry Jeudy can do. Jerry Jeudy showed this in his early days at Alabama. And there's just plenty of receptions you see of Jerry Jeudy at Alabama and in Denver. And one thing you're looking at, and you get a still frame, and it's one of those ones, who's guarding him? How did he get this open? And it was usually due to his ability, his understanding of the game, his understanding of how to run routes, create separation, when to go gas to the max, when to idle it down. And then he's just a special, special talent. Gabe Davis, Darnell Mooney, these are the guys in the same pay range. It's in my opinion, it's just a steal. The Browns are going to get critiqued for anything they do. It's just the way it goes, and it's sad that this still exists with this franchise. It really does, because they have really, really flipped the narrative. They have really, really flipped the script. You see guys, you had the Shelby Harrises of the world, the Maurice Hursts of the world, the Zadarius Smiths of the world. These guys were here 1 year. These guys were all here 1 year. Zadarius ran right back in for a 2-year deal. Shelby Harris ran right back in for a 2-year deal. Mo Hurst, and God bless Big Mo for apparently letting us all know we're going to have some Friday night plans in September. Brazil, apparently. Thanks, Mo Hurst, for that, by the way. So you look at the culture of this team, and you just continue to find ways to bring in very good, solid players to continue it. And these guys talk about the team, and they talk about their excitement to be here, their excitement to play here. This has never, ever happened in regards to the Cleveland Browns, unless it was a washed-up veteran who grew up in Cleveland and was getting a decent check to come back home. You have not heard this. It's just not the way it's spoken about. And the amount of work that Andrew Berry, the rest of the front office, obviously Coach Kevin Stefanski, what they do to put this product out there and make it as good as it is, it's really, really, a testament to what they've done. A lot of people still wondering about, the future of Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski. Let's just stop. I have a feeling it's going to be just like one Friday afternoon, probably at about 4:30, 4:45. Browns are just going to slip something out real quick. Cleveland Browns have reached agreement on contract extensions with head coach Kevin Stefanski and general manager Andrew Berry. This is going to be. This is the way it's going to work. Because in their eyes, it's not about them. It's about the product. It's about the guys on the field getting it done. Again, I'm excited about this one. I'm aggravated that it's only mid-March, because I really, really want to see this project start to get off the ground. Deshaun Watson starting to throw again in LA. Quincy Avery, David Njoku out there. I'm assuming as he ramps it up, we'll hear of Amari and Elijah, and of course, Jerry Jeudy making their way out there to get some work in with number 4 as well. I think it's a good day for the Cleveland Browns. And, one thing that did cause me some concern was going to be having all these wide receivers on the final year of their contracts. Well, there's one less headache now. Jerry Jeudy, obviously long-term with the Cleveland Browns, and obviously looking to come in and obviously have the best season of his NFL career in his first year in the land in 2024 with the Browns. Latest Locked On Browns continues. Appreciate everybody for sticking around. Did you know that even if you have a 401k for retirement, you can still have an IRA? Robinhood has the only IRA that gives you a 3% boost on every dollar you contribute when you subscribe to Robinhood Gold. But get this, now through April 30th, Robinhood is even boosting every single dollar you transfer in from other retirement accounts with a 3% match. That's right, no cap on the 3% match. Robinhood Gold gets you the most for your retirement thanks to the IRA with a 3% match. This offer is good through April 30th. Get started at robinhood.com/boost. Subscription fees apply. And now for some legal info. Claim as of Q1 2024, validated by Radius Global Market Research. Investing involves risks, including loss. Limitations apply to IRAs and 401ks. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold for 1 year from the date of first 3% match. Must keep Robinhood IRA for 5 years. The 3% matching on transfers is subject to specific terms and conditions. Robinhood IRA is available to U.S. customers in good standing. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, is a registered broker-dealer. Floyd, your latest Locked On Browns continues. Of course, we always appreciate all of you who make Locked On Browns your first listen every single day. The everyday crowd, you are a bunch of filthy animals, but you're my filthy animals, and I love you to death. We need more of you. Subscribe to Locked On Browns YouTube channel. Show is always available, always free, wherever you get your podcasts. Jerry Jeudy, official has been extended by the Cleveland Browns. Jerry Jeudy under contract with the Cleveland Browns till the 2027 season. One less headache for the Cleveland Browns as they go into the 2024 season and would have had their top 3 wide receivers on the depth chart, all in contract years. Some other Browns news of the day. James Prochet has re-signed with the Cleveland Browns. So the Browns, if it works out, and it does work this way, Nyheim Hines, obviously, Prochet, you've got your kick returner, you've got your punt returner. Obviously, it's not a perfect path for Prochet to make this roster. The Browns could very much be interested in drafting a rookie wide receiver, which could muddy the waters a little bit as far as Prochet making the final 53 and getting into the regular season. But this was brought up on a show I did, Sports for CLE, earlier today, and it's a no-brainer in my opinion. And it's Greg Newsome and obviously the possibility of his 5th-year option. We're not going to talk about 5th-year options for quite a while, guys. After this one, all right. But I think there's those, at times maybe weren't always positive about the play of Greg Newsome. I've been a fan from day one. I still remember rookie year. Went to Cincinnati. Greg Newsome was all over the Bengal wide receivers that day. As a rookie, Browns won the game in Cincy. Obviously, year 2, the emergence of Martin Emerson. There were injuries everywhere, so all the cornerbacks were rotating. Greg Newsome has always been a solid player. He's always been a solid contributor for this team. Now, picking up his 5th-year option, in my opinion, is an absolute slam dunk. The only reason I would even say that there would ever be a possibility of Greg Newsome getting traded is there may be teams who value Greg Newsome a little bit more than the Browns do, because of the fact the Browns, he plays primarily the nickel. The nickel cornerback position is starting to get paid a little bit better. It's always kind of been an unsung position to play on defense because the monetary equivalent to the pay was never necessarily worth it. Obviously, to say you're an outside corner is where the big money is. It would be about $12 million and change for a 5th-year option. Browns have to make this decision by May 2nd, and this would affect Greg Newsome for the 2025 season. It'll also be the last year of Martin Emerson's contract in 2025, so both these guys would be due for contracts at the same time. Difficult spot to be in, but again, a great spot to be in because you've got so many quality players. You're going to get sometimes stuck in tough decisions. Browns will hopefully deal with that one day, or the option would be is you move Newsome for an asset that you think it is worth Greg Newsome. For me, the question is, what is that asset? It's got to be a pick, at least in the 2nd round, in my opinion. Otherwise, I know what Greg Newsome can do for me. I have corners that do miss time. I can shuffle them around. Cam Mitchell can be a guy that comes in and plays. You have a Lassie who the Browns liked. Obviously picked him up off the waiver wire right before the season began last year and kept him on the roster the entire season. So still a lot more to come here as far as logistics, paperwork, and things of that nature for what the Browns have to accomplish between now, the draft, and obviously the 5th-year option needs to be decided by May 2nd. So that's directly right after the draft, of course. So Andrew Berry always working. Andrew Berry's always tinkering, doing what he's got to do. But the Browns made a smart, wise move today, and they are on the right side of this contract. Wait and see. Okay, if Jerry Jeudy goes out and catches 80 balls for over 1,000 yards and has 7 or 8 touchdowns this year, then guess what? The contract you just signed him to, his agency would have laughed at you. And at his age, his agency would have said, no, we want 5 years. That's the way it would have worked. So, anybody that gets upset about this or you try to critique Andrew Berry, you don't look at the entire picture. And wait for what? What option would the Browns have? They would have an option to tag him and try to work through a contract extension that way. Meanwhile, you'd have a whole bunch of other teams trying to get at him and throwing out numbers that the Browns probably would not feel that comfortable with. Again, a home run move by your general manager, Andrew Berry. You wanted this guy. You waited. You finally got that first date, and that first date went so well, you didn't even wait to move in together. He put the ring on it right away. And Jerry Jeudy will be a Cleveland Brown for a long, long time. And now you can get back to the draft. You can worry about tight ends. You can worry about a linebacker. Try to find that next running back one in the running back room. There's still work to be done, but the Browns got a significant piece of their future handled today. You have your future number 1 wide receiver in Cleveland. His name is Jerry Jeudy, and you're all going to be ready to witness a show this season in 2024 from the fifth-year wide receiver out of Alabama. Still going to continue here. Obviously, a lot of great positive feedback on yesterday's show. Mock Draft Monday is always a fun one. We're going to obviously, start kicking up the draft talk here full, a tick more as we just get closer and closer, obviously. And the Browns pretty much did the business they needed to do here in free agency. So Pete and I will have a lot of fun with that. I got a lot of other guests coming in. So appreciate everybody who makes Locked On Browns your first listen every single day. The everyday crowd, if you're not part of it by now, make a new plan. Stand subscribe to Locked On Browns YouTube channel. Show is always available. It's always free wherever you get your podcasts. This has been your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound. LGB on the LOB. Let's go Browns.